Hey Monty grads, welcome to a very special event here. We know you can't be at a formal commencement, so we're doing this special showing calling a degree conferral event, so you can at least have the chance to participate in knowing you are now a Mountie grad and you're a Mountie alum. So enjoy what we're going to do. It is going to be formal, but you can sit there with your family and friends and really get to enjoy the fact that you have completed a very, very difficult task, becoming a higher education graduate. Okay, is that good enough?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, all right, I'm gonna get back to work now, all right?
Good afternoon. It is my pleasure to announce the 2020 Mount Aloysius College Conferral Ceremony. It is now called to order. I am Patricia Ireland and I serve as the Provost Senior Vice President of Academic Affairs. On behalf of the entire college community, we thank you for joining us on this most important occasion. I'd like to start by sharing a few thoughts. This is a year like none others. As I address you from across many miles, in your homes, it is an odd and lonely feeling you and I share, yet we are in community today. As you grieve the loss of a special senior class events and of walking across the stage as one student body, take a moment to remember. Remember that you are not alone, that you earned your degree in a community of students, faculty, staff, and family. Remember that the entire Mount Aloysius community is here with you now in good thoughts, in well wishes, in joy for your perseverance and your amazing accomplishments. Remember that your degree is not the end of your education, but the start of a whole new world of knowledge. May you ever be a lifelong learner. Remember that the challenges, the disappointments, and bumps along the road open up new and exciting pathways along the journey. Seize those opportunities and forge the new paths they open for you. And you will remember how meaningful this time was, more than you could ever imagine now. Remember that Mount Aloysius College is your home, no matter how far and wide you travel. Remember that life is an adventure, now more than ever. Your degree is the start of a new adventure. Embrace it, enjoy it, savor every experience and opportunity. We wish for you joy and laughter in your personal and professional life. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce the president of Mount Aloysius College, Dr. John W. Mills.
Welcome to the 167th graduating class from Mount Aloysius, dating back to the establishment of what was then called St. Aloysius Academy in 1853. Today we are celebrating the accomplishments of the men and women of this class. They have successfully completed their respective courses of study and in the judgment of the faculty are worthy of being awarded diplomas attesting to their achievement. It is a joyful celebration, one that puts all of your midnight studying, all of the many sacrifices of your loved ones, and even all of your own earlier doubts into real-time perspective. It is also my special privilege to congratulate the gifted and generous women and men, the faculty and staff of Mount Aloysius College, who have taught, encouraged, challenged, consoled, prodded, scolded, and yes, walked with you through this educational experience. And they have really had to change their mindset and approach to deliver the last segment of your education during the pandemic shutdown. I hope you realize how challenging this was and how hard all of them worked to give you the education you deserve. A group of people who share your joy in a very special way today are your families, your moms, your dads, grandparents, spouses, children, sisters, brothers, aunts, uncles, friends, whatever the category, they shared it with you. Graduates, if one or more of those are near you now, reach out to them and thank them, even if you have to do it by social distancing. And if they are not there, remember the next time you connect with them to still let them know how much they mean to you and how much they contributed to your success. Today, our graduates are not only celebrating the successful completion of their academic programs, but they are also commencing the next chapter of their lives. But we also know that there is a hole in your hearts related to that completion. You were not able to enjoy the events, celebrations, get-togethers that are so important in this time-honored rite of passage. Events that are also important to us. But do not be too sad. We will get you back to celebrate. And it supposedly says on King Solomon's ring, this too will pass away. So we will have a real commencement eventually for you and begin it with some celebrations. We cannot say when. That is out of our control, but it will happen. Now, it has often been said that graduation is both an end and a beginning. Well, for you, it is truly a beginning of a brave new world that no graduate has ever faced. We will be rewriting the definition of the workplace and rewriting the definition of work itself in the coming years. So now is the time to be bold, innovative, and flexible. Everything we do is up for discussion now that we have faced this complete alteration to normal activities in our society. But you have been trained to be independent thinkers, innovators, and leaders. Seize this opportunity. The world needs young, aggressive thinkers to now forge the society we can be. You are our hope. So we send you forth with confidence and with the hope that each of you, in your own way, will work to make the world a better place. Maybe starting in your own neighborhood, your own town, or city, your own home. But realize now, more than ever in our history, we need you to do that. Thank you for the opportunity to serve as your president, and I'm honored to see you graduate after so much hard work. That concludes my remarks, and now I would like to turn the podium over to our student speaker, Maggie Carrera.
To the Mount Aloysius College Class of 2020, this is not the final moment we had imagined. No one can deny that the recent events of the world have altered our last few months of college in ways we never expected. Virtual classes, the goodbyes that happened sooner than expected or not at all, the celebratory laughs that ended before they could even begin, all of which makes this message difficult to convey. Yet despite all of these losses, we still have much to celebrate. Over the last few years, we have all traveled our journeys, side by side, as we navigate academics, extracurriculars, sports seasons and training, campus renovations, and senior year. On the way, we bridged connections with each other, faculty, staff, and the community. Connections that reached beyond academic disciplines, level of education, or hometowns. Connections that became even more meaningful because they were made here at the Mount, a place where college means more than a degree and where family becomes roommates, classmates, professors, club advisors, staff, and alumni. These connections and the experiences shared through them will be the most memorable part of our time here. It is rare to experience a place so characterized by genuineness and grace. And it is these qualities that make Mount Aloysius College and the people in its campus community so incredibly special. People like the class of 2020. If there is one word to describe this class, it is this: resilience. Over the last few years, our class has witnessed many changes, and although the current one may seem more daunting than the rest, it represents the strength that has carried us through each one. We did not give up. The present may be uncertain and far from what we had envisioned, but our future is in our hands. It will be us, the medical professionals, business leaders, teachers, scientists, writers, speakers, and technicians that will shape the world from this moment forward. So to the Mount Aloysius College class of 2020, congratulations, we did it. Let those words remind us of the journey we experienced together, the everlasting connections we built, and the memories gathered, as well as the gratitude we have for this college, the place that we changed, the place that changed us. In this and each other, may we find celebration and hope, for it is our turn now. With all my heart, congratulations.
Thank you, Maggie, for those reflections. I know your words will continue to be in the hearts and minds of your fellow graduates. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Matthew Stuckey, a member of the Mount Aloysius Board of Trustees.
Hi, everybody. Congratulations to the Mount Aloysius graduating class of 2020. I'm Matt Stuckey. I'm one of the Board of Trustee members. Recently, only been doing it for a little bit less than a year now. And I'm really excited to share with you a message from the Board of Trustees and just to further congratulate you on a momentous day here as you graduate virtually for 2020. I realized as I was preparing for you here today a little bit that I've spent nearly half my life now as a postgraduate from college. So you can figure out the numbers of that, but it's a little less than half. But I wanted to share with you some principles that have served me well as I've reflected back on my time since college and things that I learned specifically through that journey. First and foremost, figure out what makes you tick. Now, you may have based your whole studies and spent the last 4 years or maybe even more around this, or you may have been like me and discovered shortly through your college journey that where you really wanted to be and what you wanted to do with your life and your career was not exactly what you're studying. And that's okay. But take those experiences and really try to figure out the way that you are wired. God made you on purpose for a purpose. Now, you may deeply know that by now, but if you don't worry. You've got the rest of your life ahead of you to figure that out. But ask some good, deep questions. If it doesn't seem right, ask some more. Then we're all endowed by our Creator with passions, abilities, and interests. And the intersection of those passions, abilities, and interests, that's where you should spend most of your time trying to figure out what makes you tick. And once you've figured that out, move. It doesn't have to be the exact perfect job, situation, place to live, opportunity. Just head in that general direction. Now let's talk about what the elephant in the room is here, and that's COVID. It's why I'm talking to you remotely and not face to face. Obviously, this was not something that was in any of our plans, and it's really thrown a wrench in the works of certainly the capstone of your senior year, your last semester. But you know what? Adversity is a great teacher, especially if we learn from it. So here's some ideas I have as to how to process this time through COVID. First and foremost, don't be ashamed to mourn a little bit. This stinks. Yet the final year of your senior semester, we've had to have a big pause. You had to transition to online learning, and just so many things that you were expecting were cut short. Most importantly today. We were looking forward to nothing more than shaking everybody's hand as you walked across the stage and got your diploma. So it's okay to be upset about that. I'm upset about that. It's okay to mourn a little bit. But don't overlook the opportunity that this adversity brings. It may not feel like it now, but this detour will ultimately help to get you to where you're going. Now, periodically take some time to look back and then discover what you've learned and how you overcame some of these challenges. You're going to mature as a person, whether you realize that or not, through this challenging time. Take advantage of the doors that are open before you. Now, many of you have jobs in certain career paths that you've trained for the last several years, and you're ready to get going into that. But for many of you, those things changed. And they may have changed just in the last few weeks here. Jobs that you thought you may have had lined up or places you wanted to go, studies you wanted to continue on to, They may be on hold, and quite frankly, they just may not happen. But what you need to do is prepare yourself for the opportunities that are going to open up. So ask yourself this really important question. How can I take this adversity and use it as an opportunity to get ahead of the other 2020 graduates, my peers and folks your age, and just the community in general? There is opportunity out there. It may not be exactly what you wanted. It may not be exactly what you thought you were going to do. But you know what? If it's close to that intersection of your passions, your abilities, and your interests, just move that direction. Take the opportunity. Activity breeds activity. So let's get moving. One other thing that's really important that you do is set some clear goals, some things that you'd like to achieve, targets you want to shoot for, and most importantly, put some deadlines on that, when you want to get those things done. Areas to think about. Think about your personal life, what you want things to look like, where you want to live, who you want to be, where you want to go, those sort of things. Professionally, obviously, many of you have some pretty clear goals for that. That's what you're doing here today is a step in that direction. But maybe you still have some questions there, and that's okay. So where do you want to be professionally? And then, of course, your social life, your family, your friends, how you want that to look. This time of social distancing, it's like fingers on a chalkboard every time I hear that term. I mean, we are social beings, so we need interaction with other people. So make sure you have that in your life. And like they say, in order to have more friends, you need to be a good friend. So reach out to your friends, family. Make sure that's part of your life as you go forward here. So, we all strive to be on top of a mountain. And I can remember one of my favorite mountaintop experiences was between my junior and senior year of college. I was fortunate enough to be able to take a trip to Europe, and actually I even got credit for it. But we traveled through 10 different countries in 10 weeks. And I can still remember this one afternoon. We were in Innsbruck, Austria, which is right in the middle of the Alps. And as we were in that town, we were there for a couple days, just kept looking up, and I saw this just beautiful peak right outside of town. And you could see just a little trail that was going up towards it. So one afternoon, some friends and I decided, you know what, we're going to climb that mountain. And it was just great. It was a fun time. We found the trail, kind of made our way up. We didn't really have a map or anything. We just said, we're going there. And we made it to the top. Took a little longer than we thought. You're sitting in town and you see this little peak out there. It looks pretty close, right? Well, I'm sure it was at least a few miles away. We made it to the top. And I just remember the experience of being at the top and looking down at this just really quaint, European town of Innsbruck, and the serenity that was up there, and just how great of an experience that was. But what I also remember is the trip down. It was a lot harder getting down that mountain than it was getting up, and it took a lot longer than we thought. We came home hungry and tired, and we enjoyed the experience, but it definitely stretched us a little bit. So, that's, I think, something that we need to all realize in our lives. We don't live our lives at the top of the mountain. We live in the valley. So apply that to your daily life, right? We all need to just embrace the daily grind. The real world after college is going to be challenging. The days are long. You just don't have as much free time as you have had the last couple of years. But embrace that, just be ready to live in the valley. But don't stop looking for those mountaintops. And when you get to the top, as you will periodically, I hope a lot, just take some time, soak it in, enjoy that time on the top of the mountain, because you're only going to be there for a little while. So let's just recap a couple of things, and then we're just so excited to send you on your way as graduates of Mount Aloysius College. First and foremost, figure out what makes you tick, and then move. Head in that direction, take action, set some goals. Take some time to look back every couple of months, and most importantly, enjoy the ride. Enjoy the mountaintops and the valleys. Now, I know that this may seem like one of the worst times to be graduating, having to be off campus for the last couple of weeks. But you know what? We don't get to choose our circumstances. You do get to choose, though, how you respond to those circumstances. And that's going to make all of the difference. Best wishes to all of you. May God bless you and everything that you're doing. We are so excited to hear the stories of where the 2020 class ends up. And you know what? You are our first virtual graduation. So congratulations from the Board of Trustees. We are cheering for you. Know that your whole Mountie family is behind you, and we are wishing you the best of luck. Congrats.
Thank you, Matt, for those inspiring words to our graduates during these incredibly challenging times. At this time, the students who have completed all degree requirements will have their names read. At graduation, tradition calls for the honoring of academically outstanding students by indicating their level of achievement. The definitions are as follows: cum laude with distinction, magna cum laude with great distinction, and summa cum laude with highest distinction. In addition, students who participated in the honors program and those who are Mercy Presidential Scholars who are also noted. We will first recognize the graduates of the School of Nursing and Health Sciences. President Mills, these students have completed the requirements in their respective courses of study, and by the recommendation of the faculty are presented to you for the degree of either Associate of Bachelor or Bachelor of Science.
By virtue of the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, I hereby confer upon you your degrees and welcome you to all the rights and privileges thereto appertaining. Dr. Nicole Custer, Dean of the School of Nursing and Health Sciences, will now recognize the graduates of the School of Nursing and Health Sciences.
Not many students can say that they've completed their final semester of schooling in a health science program during a global pandemic. The traditional ways of hands-on learning have had to be virtually simulated or placed on hold altogether. However, we know that you're well prepared to enter your field. May the knowledge you've gained here and the compassion of the Sisters of Mercy lead you to accomplish great things in your career in healthcare. I will now recognize the graduates of the School of Nursing and Health Sciences. Associate of Science, Medical Assistant, Ashley Deppen. Ashton Four. Trudy Ann McDonald. Michaela L. Peruso. Jody Marie Reynolds. Associate of Science, Medical Imaging. Madison N. Dell. Bachelor of Science, Nursing. Erica Marie Blackburn, cum laude. Shelby Ismarie Blake. Paige Jacqueline Boone. Annette Denise Chadwick. Hannah Teresa Cochin, magna cum laude. Rebecca Isabel Gaylord. Lydia Grimes. Ashley London Hicks, magna cum laude. Molly Holdaway. Michaelin Lauer, magna cum laude. Paige Lowe. Samantha Alexis Moyer, magna cum laude. Keithan O'Brien, cum laude, Mercy Presidential Scholar, Honors Program. Christine Ann Riley. Jessica L. Sanders. Henry F. Schlosser. Brittany Nicole Settle. Amber Smith, cum laude. Rebecca D. Thompson. Faith Ann Troyan, magna cum laude. Ralston D. Varner. Ashley Nicole Wetzel. Paige Elizabeth White, cum laude. Jane Marie Roy. Lily Elizabeth Yawn. Associate of Science, Nursing. Brianna Marie Benscoter. Michelle Carper, magna cum laude. Kirsten Renee Creamer. Alexis Joe Donna. Madeline Doyle. Marissa K. Gartland. Delaney Carolyn George. Megan Marie George. Brittany J. Graziosi. Tara Renee Haynes. Purity Ann Heilman. Nathan Allen Kornprobst. Summer Elizabeth Lauber. Abigail Elise Levine. Brianna Nicole Lieb, Mercy Presidential Scholar. Emily E. McDonald. Sarah Ann McAndrew. Kaylee Ann Grace Miller. Tony Elise Mirelli. Caitlin Elizabeth Parisi. Maria Ann Pio. Abigail Lynn Wrights. Mara Ann Risbin, cum laude. Rachel Pearl Robinson. Danielle J. Schoenberger. Bobby Lynn Smith, magna cum laude. Kennedy Elizabeth Snyder. Madeline L. Stahl. Allison Lily Stanovich, cum laude. Holly Elizabeth Stifler, cum laude. Brittany Elaine Walls. Mackenzie Eileen Woodley. Associate of Science, Physical Therapist Assistant. Allison Marie Faribaugh. Bachelor of Science, Ultrasonography. Sarah Beth Courtwright, cum laude. Paige Renee Dingus, summa cum laude, Mercy Presidential Scholar. Cheyenne Nicole Kuncher. Grace Olivia Peachy, summa cum laude, Mercy Presidential Scholar. Ashley Nicole Ravenscroft, magna cum laude. Andrea Wallach. Associate of Science, Ultrasonography. Darian Nicole Dixon, magna cum laude. Devin Ali Dubensky. Courtney Ray Forsyth, cum laude. Alexis Reese. Margot Renee Winnard.
At this time, we will recognize the graduates of the School of Business, Arts, and Sciences. President Mills, these students have completed the requirements in the respective courses of study, and by the recommendation of the faculty are presented to you for the graduate degree of Master of Business Administration or Master of Science, or the undergraduate degrees Associate of Arts or Science or Bachelor of Arts or Science.
By virtue of the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, I hereby confer upon you your degrees and welcome you to all the rights and privileges thereto appertaining. Dr. David Haschak, Dean of the School of Business, Arts, and Sciences, will now recognize the graduates in the School of Business, Arts, and Sciences.
Graduates, today we join you in celebrating this important milestone. You've arrived at this moment through perseverance and hard work, and you stand ready for the rest of your lives. The lessons you have learned here, inside and outside of the classroom at Mount Aloysius, will serve as a strong foundation for the rest of your life. I am sure recent events have tested that very foundation, but we have witnessed you rise to the occasion and overcome. We stand in awe of your accomplishments, and on behalf of the faculty and staff of the School of Business, Arts, and Sciences, I congratulate you on a job well done. I will now recognize the graduates of the School of Business, Arts, and Sciences. Bachelor of Science, Accounting. James Cameron Eyre, magna cum laude, Mercy Presidential Scholar, Honors Program. Joseph W. Hudak, cum laude. Shakira Dawn Jones, magna cum laude. Brianna Lee Kendrick. Maria Svenslava Koguk, summa cum laude. Andrew J. Pasco. Logan Michael Schrahl, cum laude. Samuel Svanovec, summa cum laude. Bachelor of Arts, American Sign Language, English Interpreting. Stevie L. Confer. Catherine Annette M. Cox. Leanne Reed, Mercy Presidential Scholar, Honors Program. Bachelor of Science, Biology. Ashanti Kaesha Anderson. Brianna Lynn Belomo, summa cum laude. Michaela Amelia Gresco, cum laude. Sabrina Henry. Jesse Hoover, cum laude. Hannah Jo Kitko. Caitlin Marie Coker, Mercy Presidential Scholar, Honors Program. Lana Manyashina, summa cum laude. Ashana Mazik. Brittany Elizabeth McLucas, magna cum laude. Emma Pervarnik, cum laude, Mercy Presidential Scholar. Shamia D. Pentard, magna cum laude. Megan Rose Quinn, Cruz Rivera Jr., cum laude, salute. Nathan Scott Smith, magna cum laude, Mercy Presidential Scholar, Honors Program. Noah Strickland, Mercy Presidential Scholar, Honors Program. Masters of Business Administration. Brandon James Amy. Crystal Hart Cosgrove. Elizabeth Ann Bundy. Taylor Curtis Wheeler. Jared Neal Dahl. Emma Page Fisher. Brianna N. Hamilton. Mary Kathleen Hutsky. Emily Jean Kelly. Stephen Christopher Niebauer. Joseph Patrick Rowland. Jennifer Joyce Sloan. Alexandra Page Teeter. Alexander T. Way. Troy Lewis Williams. Bachelor of Science, Business Administration. Brandon Joe Beagle. Nicholas B. Belka. Travis Bavard. Lori A. Fox. Joshua A. Gardner. Heather Therese Harbridge, magna cum laude. Sarah Elizabeth Hartman, summa cum laude. Ashley Nicole Imbrogno, summa cum laude. William Zachary Kanich, cum laude. Courtney Marie Link, magna cum laude. Mike McCourt, summa cum laude. Trent Kaiser Mackerland. Leah Danae Samarco. Casey Schaefer, cum laude. Nicole Elizabeth Shank, magna cum laude. Kaylee Michelle Smith. Ramel David Stevens. Associate of Science, Business Administration. Ellie Marie Cook. Bachelor of Arts, Communication Studies. Courtney Lynn Moyer. Jacob Stevens. Master of Science, Community Counseling. Alyssa Rachel Craig. Savannah Ray Heaton. Vanessa R. George. Bachelor of Arts, Criminology. Cole Andrew Funk, magna cum laude. Chad McCusker. Katie Nicole Lawrence, summa cum laude, Mercy Presidential Scholar. Nina Michelle Schatzer. Dakota Nicole Steele. Associate of Science, Criminology. Bo Hunter Smith. Associate of Science, Digital Forensics Investigations. Cheyenne Phillips, summa cum laude. Bachelor of Science, Early Childhood Education, Pre-K to 4. Catherine H. Ellenberger, summa cum laude, Mercy Presidential Scholar. Tiffany Marie Glass, cum laude. Nicole Marie Goodyear. Amanda L. Skura, cum laude. Associate of Science, Early Childhood Education. Kira Latch. Bachelor of Arts, English. Holly Leanne Acker, magna cum laude. Maggie Carrera, summa cum laude, honors program. Bachelor of Science, General Science. Zachary David Lieb, summa cum laude, Mercy Presidential Scholar. Colton Miller, Mercy Presidential Scholar. Summer Lynn Shell, Mercy Presidential Scholar. Leah C. Stower, cum laude. Ryan Daniel Streets. Samantha Rose Torrenti. Bachelor of Arts, History Political Science. Holly Leanne Acker, magna cum laude. Maggie Carrera, summa cum laude, honors program. Bachelor of Arts, History Political Science, secondary education. Sarah Olinger, cum laude. John R. Whittington. Bachelor of Science, Information Technology. Abdulaziz Alfazan, magna cum laude. Abdulaziz Adal Ahudaib. Courtney Renee Askins. Domini Dawn. Alyssa Nicole Ingram, cum laude. Nicholas James Linneman, magna cum laude, Mercy Presidential Scholar. Christopher Britton McCarty, cum laude. John J. McChrystal Jr., magna cum laude. Associate of Science, Information Technology. Roque El-Kaim, summa cum laude. Bachelor of Science, Interdisciplinary Studies. Trudy Ann McDonald. Jacqueline Nicole Mock. Danielle Marie Pompa. Bachelor of Science, Leadership and Healthcare. Allison Danielle Ritchie. Douglas C. Smith. Luke Daniel Stoltz. Bachelor of Arts, Pre-Law. Brett A. Schoenfeld, magna cum laude. Associate of Arts, Liberal Arts. Nicole R. Albarano. Jocelyn R. Clayton. Shannon M. Miller. Associate of Science, Liberal Arts. Gina Cross, Caitlin Elizabeth King, Paige A. Rickner, Connor Anthony Singo, Carissa Smiley, Bachelor of Science, Natural Science, Josie Rosella Seaman, Associate of Science, Natural Science, Samuel Heath Keebler, Michaela Lynn Clark, Ian M. Koenig, Bachelor of Arts, Psychology, Miranda S. Blair, Jenna Rose Gaunt, cum laude, Christine Martin, Nicholas Gerard McConnell, Trent Kaiser Mackerlane, Michaela Marie Miller.
Graduates, we hope you are home wearing your caps and gowns, so at this time, I will ask all graduates to please rise. President Mills, it is my pleasure to present to you the Mount Aloysius College 2020 graduates.
Graduates, put your caps on. This is the moment you've been waiting for. Congratulations, graduates. You may now move your tassel from the right to the left side of your cap. As the 167th class to graduate from Mount Aloysius, you carry with you the heritage of the college beginnings in the 19th century and our hopes for making the world a better place in the 21st century. And believe me, that hope is now greater than ever. Throughout your years here, you have been encouraged to synthesize faith with learning, to develop competence with compassion, and to put your talents and gifts at the service to others, and to begin to assume leadership in the world community. In this present day and age, now this is your chance, and the chances are very great. I know some of you may be discouraged by what's happening with unemployment and job opportunities, but the world will never be the same, and here's your opportunity to make it the way you want it to be. Congratulations. Now, as we conclude our program, please bow your head for the benediction offered by Sister Benedict Joseph Waters, RSM.
In the spirit of this muted celebration, yet in a time of hope, expectation, and joy, let us pray for our graduates of this year, 2020. O gracious and merciful Lord, you who delight in your people, we urge you to bless these graduates abundantly as they celebrate their graduation today. You have brought them through 4 years of diligent study, and lately through a period of anguish, daily challenges, and uncertainty. May they now receive the Holy Spirit's gifts of joy, peace, and hope. May those gifts and your daily companionship with them be with them on this next lap of their life's journey. May they gratefully share their talents and gifts and their well-earned education in the service of others, especially with those less fortunate, in good times and in challenging ones. May they bring to their workplace true competence and compassion, and a spirit of hospitality and a community among all there. O loving and merciful God, we pray for peace for our graduates and for all of our troubled world, for its many displaced persons, those in danger of violence, starvation, and disease. And finally, O provident God, in this period of testing, bless our graduates, their families and loved ones, and all of us with good health and hearts filled with gratitude, hope, and trust in your ever-enduring love and mercy. Graduates, may you always feel at home at the Mount.
Hello, Mountie Class of 2020. I'm Brad McKitko. I'm coming to you virtually from Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. I am here representing the Mount Aloysius College Alumni Association, and on behalf of all the alumni, I would like to congratulate you on your commencement this year. I graduated from the Medical Imaging and Radiation Sciences program with my associate degree in 2012 and my bachelor degree in 2014, so I know how excited you are to be finishing up college and to move on to your new life. My favorite memory of the Mount is the sense of community and care shown by all who walk the halls and grounds of those high hills in Cresson, PA. The recent circumstances surrounding the viral outbreak this year certainly have changed our daily routines as well as plans. Commencement ceremonies all around the country, including ours, are also affected. So we're here in the Alumni Association wanting to send out a warm message to you virtually through a video recording to help celebrate your graduation from the Mount. During the graduation ceremony, as a sign of welcoming you and solidarity with your fellow colleagues, the faculty, staff, and alumni, we lead you into commencement while wearing our own graduation regalia. That's why I am putting on this cap to symbolize the gesture of tradition with you. While we can't all be together at this time to wear our gowns with each other, I am encouraging you to video chat with your classmates, friends, family, and the faculty this special time in your life. Your hard work, hours of studying, service to others, and dedication to your education is felt throughout the institution and the community. All of you represent the values of Sisters of Mercy every day and hope after you depart from us, you continue that selfless spirit. As the newest graduates of Mount Aloysius College, it is my honor to welcome you as members of the Mount Aloysius Alumni Association and continue to keep in touch with us as you grow into your professional lives. We are in this together with each other while being a distance apart. This will be a historic year and hope all the best to you as well as your family and your friends. Please be safe, stay strong, have fun, and go Mounties.